Good day and welcome. My name is Petty Officer Second Class Jeff Oliver. I'm a Naval Reservist in Hamilton at HMCS Star. I want to speak today about accountability as displayed by General Currie, specifically at the Battle of Vimy Ridge. I chose this because I think I need to know more about Canada's World War I history, our role in the conflict, how it shaped our military thinking, how it shaped us as a nation. There's a certain amount of mythology apparently around Vimy Ridge that it's a bit overblown in terms of its importance, and I wanted to dig into that a little bit more. Having said that, I think the lessons learned are still relevant today, more than 100 years later. Also, as a Naval Reservist, I chose accountability because I want there to be a symbiosis, I suppose, between my civilian side and my military side. But because I spend more time on the civilian side, I risk having my civilian world influence the military, and I very much want it to be the other way around. I want my military understanding of ethos and professionalism to influence and to inform my civilian side. In terms of accountability and what it means to me, accountability means that there is a standard to which I can be held, and I should be held. I should hold myself. My superiors should be able to hold me to that standard, and I should be accountable, or I should be responsible if I fail to do so. It also means if I look down the chain of command, I owe it to my team to hold them to a high standard, and they can expect me to be showing them a high standard of professionalism. And finally, as a person who puts on a uniform that says Canada, I am accountable to Canadians. Canadians can hold me responsible for my actions, also my decisions, particularly as I move further up into senior leadership roles. General Currie understood all this, and we can learn a lot of valuable lessons from him. In terms of his accountability to his superior command gave him the objective to capture Vimy Ridge. This was an objective that others had tried and failed to capture, and Currie took on that task in the same way he took on all his tasks, where he was a very famously meticulous planner, and he planned every aspect of it. He introduced new tactics. He had almost 100,000 troops. There was a creeping barrage of artillery. There were very, very specific timings of meeting certain objectives. I have not obviously planned anything nearly to that scale. I have had very little experience in any sort of large-scale planning, but every task is made up of smaller parts, and every task, every big plan can be broken down into several smaller ones, and every aspect of those plans need to be taken care of. So when my superiors give me a tasking, I need to plan it start to finish. I need to be accountable to them to make sure that I've done everything I can do to meet the objective and to have success at it. Currie also had responsibility or accountability to his troops, and because he planned Vimy Ridge, the attack on Vimy Ridge, so meticulously, because he planned it with such detail and to achieve the objective in the shortest amount of time with the maximum amount of success, that also meant that was the maximum amount of survivability for the men who were putting themselves in harm's way. So they knew that when they went over the top and when they attacked that ridge, that their command had given them the best chance of surviving and being victorious. Again, nothing I've done should be compared to Vimy Ridge in terms of finding parallels, but if I want my team to have success, if I want them to have the maximum success in a training evolution or in anything, I need to plan for it. It's long been my catchphrase, I suppose, that my job as a supervisor is to make sure that my team can do their jobs. But unless I've planned for their success, unless I've enabled their success through planning it, those are empty words. So if I want to be accountable to my troops, if I want to be accountable to my subordinates, my team, I need to plan for their success. And finally, accountability to Canadians. By all accounts, General Currie was a brilliant military commander. He not only captured Vimy Ridge, he also planned the final campaigns of the war. He led the Canadian Corps on the most successful campaign of all the Allied forces. He could have reasonably expected to come home as a war hero, and likely he did. But not many years after the war ended, people were already starting to question and starting to criticize his decisions, claiming that he engaged in unnecessary and costly battles that really had no bearing on the war itself. And for the most part, Currie stayed silent on these. He allowed Canadians to have those opinions, and it's one of the freedoms that we have as Canadians, that we are able to hold our military to account and criticize what has been said, what has been done. And it's striking to me that as much as I think that's a good and healthy thing in a democracy, it's Canadians generally don't understand much about what the military does or how the military accomplishes its work, and yet they can have these very, very strong opinions. It's not something I have a problem with in any way, shape, or form. It's just a sobering thought to know. And in terms of my own experience, or as I'm looking forward to moving up in the rank, to understand that not only my actions will be held accountable, but also the decisions that I make. The decisions that I make might have impact on the lives of my subordinates. It might impact the well-being of my subordinates. And there will come a time, or there may come a time, when those decisions, which may seem a good idea at the time, they may have seemed even necessary at the time, that sometime later people might look back on those with more critical eyes. For me, the key takeaway, the thing that I've learned from this experience and continue to reflect on, and obviously many of my thoughts are kind of jumbled and not very well refined, but there was a time when I thought that the various aspects of CAF ethos were separate parts of a whole. But I've come to see accountability, or I've come to see many of them, as much more interwoven. And what I mean by that is, if I look at some of the other values, excellence, for example. Excellence means that there is a standard to which I need to pursue. There's a standard that I need to be held to. That is accountability to my superiors. If I look at inclusion, that to me means that my team, everyone on my team, can expect from me the best of me. That is accountability to my subordinates. If I think about loyalty, which is first and foremost an allegiance to Canada, that is accountability to Canadians. As I said, I very much have appreciated this opportunity, not only to speak, but also to reflect on these various aspects, and I think that has been an extremely valuable experience for me. Appreciate you watching, thank you, and enjoy your day.